Excellencies, dear colleagues, it is a pleasure to contribute to this Australian Policy Roundtable for Open Science, especially given the rapidly evolving global transformation of science, technology, and innovation systems. Science is essential to the ways that we create and share knowledge today. Because of the critical role that science plays in our lives, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone has the right to freely share in scientific advancement and in its benefits. In order to advance this human right and to ensure that science truly fills its potential for all, we need science to be more connected to societal needs and more accessible to all. We need to bridge the science, technology, and innovation gaps that exist between and within countries. In recognition of these needs, UNESCO member states adopted in 2021 the Recommendation on Open Science, which is an international legal framework with a shared vision and shared standards to strengthen science systems around the world. And indeed, much remains to be done. We know that science today is produced and paid for unevenly around the world, with some 90% of patents, publications, and research dollars coming from the G20 countries. But also the tools and infrastructures that we use to conduct research are equally unevenly distributed. Even as science and innovation become increasingly dependent on technologies, the access, the governance, and the creation of such technologies remains in the hands of a few. And changing this pattern is going to require a genuine shift in who is participating in science and information systems, who is shaping scientific agendas through investment and assessment, and shifting how science is used as a process to grow knowledge and engage with society. The UNESCO Recommendation on Open Science provides a guiding framework, with countries agreeing on shared areas of action to boost not only scientific knowledge, but also access to those tools and processes of science. The recommendation calls for openness in engagement with society and in dialogue across knowledge systems, with the goal of creating stronger science systems that are of service to all. We know that open science provides a range of benefits for individual researchers up through national and global benefits. We explore these in the first Global Open Science Outlook, which is a report created with contributions of experts from all regions. But these benefits are not certain for all without action that we take together. To promote open and equitable science, we need to nurture collaborations among communities and between countries. And to sustain that open science, we must build mechanisms and modes of engagement that are on equal terms, built on genuine trust and using those shared values and principles. Without joint efforts, the adoption of new tools by some could perpetuate or deepen inequities and feed mistrust in science. In asking for trust in science, we need to be open about who is governing it, whose information is captured, used, and respected, and who has access to the tools that underpin science today. We also need to be conscious of the other unintended consequences of the mechanisms that are used to open access to science, particularly those that could create new cost barriers that disproportionately affect researchers in low resource contexts, and that perpetuate the idea of science as a commodity rather than science as a common good. In this context, the actions and innovations in open science, we see these happening in all regions. Many examples are shared in the Open Science Outlook, where we identify these set of enabling conditions for the transformation. For instance, since the adoption of the Recommendation on Open Science, many countries have developed or strengthened their policy frameworks supporting open science. And we see a growing shift from regulations that are specific to publications or data towards a more holistic transformation of science systems. At UNESCO, we host 5 globally representative working groups with more than 900 members focused on key challenges facing open science today. And these experts have provided input into an open science toolkit and other guidance that can help support the transition to open science through cultural shifts, through building capacity and accessible tools, ensuring open science is possible and is also incentivized while tracking our progress and sharing innovations. And now, as we mark the 3rd year since the recommendation was adopted, these and other advances will be collected over the next year through the first national reporting process, with national reports due in February 2025. We certainly look forward to hearing and sharing Australia's advances. So I thank you for your efforts to strengthen Australia's science systems, including through engagement with this global community's efforts towards more open and more equitable science. And I wish you a fruitful dialogue in this policy roundtable. Thank you.